Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 8:42 a.m. Eastern Time on St. Patrick's Day, 2021. The title of my video is Can St. Powell Lift the Equity Markets Today? So, of course, I'm just joking that since it's St. Patrick's Day, I thought he could be St. Powell. But we will see. As I always say on FOMC days, think of the sessions as two different sessions. Split them before 2 o'clock and after 2 o'clock. As a public service reminder, the Europeans do not leave the markets until 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right? The U.S. is in daylight savings time. The Europeans are not. So that means there's only a 4-hour difference between us right now. So keep that in mind that until 12:30, right? So you basically have until 12:30 until 2 that's kind of dead right after the European close and before the Fed announcement. So that's when there might be a reversion to the mean back to the open or up to the open, depending on which way the market jams this morning, if it does it at all. So market doing quite well off the pandemic lows, right? We're coming up on a year, right? We're about a week out from the year. That low is on March 23rd of last year. So as we come up here, we are just up here, treading water near these all-time highs for the ES. As we look at all the indexes, right? We got the Russell coming back for a little bit of a retracement and really checking the breakout area right now. If you look at what's held and been the floor for the Russell, it's really these lows going back to February 24th, right? These were the highs on February 24th, right? That's the lows now. So we're retesting that area. If this area of the chart doesn't hold right, you've got these highs basically from March 1st right in here, and then coming down, you just go backwards and look at these highs. But so basically, if this 2300 area doesn't hold, you've got 75 below that, and really, you can see it's a few points above that, and possibly up to 81, 75 to 81, and then you've got 64, 65 right in there. So we'll see how this holds. It's quite possible that that we are near session lows tonight if we don't get down. Also, look at this leg start up that was basically from March 10th, right? You can get it a little closer on your chart or zoom in or use the Jack's trade room codes, right? We'll spell it out for you. That's going to be right around 2285. So as we look at that, we beat up the Russell. Looking at the Dow, right? The Dow, same thing. It's going back to February 24th. That's hugging right there. So you got both of them hugging or February 20. Yeah, February 24th right now. The Dow, I'm sure that was the ES. The Dow, not really retracing at all, right? So, I mean, it's barely getting back to the 11th, right? Last week on these retracements. And so that leaves us with the NQ, right? The NASDAQ is sitting here going back and forth. It did pop up above that 13,170. It got close up towards these 13,300s, and Jack had a retracement level to short up there that stopped short of that resistance, and it hit that retracement level and rejected back down. So as we look at the 13,000 level that it's holding now, right, as you can see coming off this bottom, it has been fairly orderly going to the upside. So we'll see if that flash in the pan, right, was it, or if it can get a little bit more legs. So while we're sitting here, let's go back and look at Tesla one more time, right? So Tesla yesterday was holding that halfway back short ever since it made it basically on March 5th, right? It's been holding that $720 level, let's call it, It flashed up to it, come back down. Now it's back below the 38.2, which is 677. And then you can see where the reason I added on this chart this I don't even remember which moving average it is now. Let's see. Excuse me, I'm still on my first cup of coffee. So 100-day moving average. The reason I put this 100-day moving average on and just a simple 100-day moving average is because that is the level on February 23rd that Kathy Wood found it optimal to jump in and buy Tesla, right? She's the one that put in the bottom on February 23rd, and it was right on the 100-day moving average to the penny. So she come up with that. So I thought we'd, just track that going forward as a little bit of a bias since, she put, lots of money on the line at that point in time. So as we look at it, we're going to open up right around that 100-day moving average today, right? That's going to be basically right around 654, 653, somewhere in there. And we're opening right on it, right? So definitely much more weakness, lack of conviction under there for Tesla. So we'll see if, it holds or not. Remember, as Tesla goes, the NASDAQ goes to a larger extent, and then to a smaller extent, that drags the ES. And if Tesla really starts moving right, and you've got some people that have margin calls because they're dumbasses and using margin, right, they're going to have to sell other things to cover it that are much better, right, to cover their margin call because they're going to hold on to their loser. They're going to sell their winners to hold their losers because that's how dumbasses do it when things are going bad. So as we look at this now for the overnight session, 25 and a quarter points. If you look at where the level fours are, and this really we broke out from this level, right? 38.93 half for the ES, right? That would be level 4A is just above there at 96 half today. Not saying we get down there, but if we do, that should be a resting area for the market. And then, we could obviously print lower. We could test a little bit lower, maybe down to 75. But that would be the extent unless things really accelerate to the downside. You shouldn't be gaming, even in the worst conditions today, that we're going to really make it under there. And chances are we're not even going to get down to that level on the chart. But you need to know where, if we do catch good shorts today, that would be the area to cover the majority of them, like 8 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 of them, if you want to leave something else run after that, or get back in if we start flashing lower. Or, if you were able to catch it down there, just walk away, take your money, and say that was a good day. And don't worry about the fear of missing out, right? Don't let the FOMO get you. So to the upside, right, we could actually print 4,000 today if things get going that way. I think that'd be a little bit more difficult if we don't get over or if we're not close to these highs from yesterday by around the time that FOMC starts, right? That first session, right? At the end of it, we could print lower, we could come back up, but you're gonna have to be up near yesterday's, at least the overnight high today, to have any chance of doing that. So let's zoom in and look at all the indexes here. We got the Russell, who has been weak, right? We just talked about it coming into that last week of February where that resistance was. Now it's potential support. So this could be about as low as it gets today, right? If this doesn't hold, you probably got another, 25 points below. Looking at the NASDAQ, again, it's going to be the driver for this is going to be Tesla. So if you're playing either the NASDAQ or the ES today, you really should have Tesla open off to the side and just watch how it's tracking, right? It's going to be almost like a tick read for these indexes today if it moves out of that range it's been in. And I think there's going to be some consternation around that 100-day simple moving average for the simple technicians like Kathy. So as we look at this and go, you can see the Dow is holding up well. Everyone else has been below yesterday's low. And again, the Russell barely below it because it found that support. But the Dow, right, is actually printing up near value area high. So if you want to lean long on something, right, as we've been saying, the Dow doesn't have anything to do with Tesla or Bitcoin, right? And it's also getting the rotation favor of going into it, right? If you want to lean short, I would say the NASDAQ is really the one to strategically look for shorts as long as Tesla looks weak. If Tesla starts getting a bid, that's going to end up being a bad idea. If Tesla starts getting some sequences and going lower, it should really accelerate the losses in the NASDAQ and drag down the ES as well. For the Russell, I would just watch right around this 2300 area to see if it finds a bid, and you can keep trying to play long off of this overnight low area until it cracks, and then I think you could try to play short for that 20 to 25 point move down. And again, do this. You're right at the edge, right? So you don't need to give up much risk, right, as you're down here. So this is kind of like a pivotal point, this 2300 area, because not because it's a big round number, but because it was previous resistance and now it's potential support. So I'll be sending out the overnight value areas to the equity profile members this morning. I'm not going to be around too much. Today is my wedding anniversary, so the wife and I will be doing other things. I'll be around probably till around 10 o'clock, and that'll be it for me for today. So I hope you guys have a great day trading. Again, monitor your risk and just, don't give away too much and don't get caught up. Remember, we're going to have two sessions. We're going to have before the Fed and after the Fed. And if you want to have a little intermission, right, that intermission is going to be between the Euro close and the Fed open. So, and it's probably going to revert back to the bell open, wherever the bell opens end up being. If we drive higher, you could fade back towards the bell open in that 90 minutes. And if we drive down lower this morning, right, you could fade back up to that bell open towards it, right? Look for that as like a reversion trade for this morning's shenanigans. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.